So we see this imbalance. And in Detroit, which is a city that is at least 85% African American, and probably when the next census data comes out, we'll probably find it's more like 90% African American. We found that many of the key players in the kind of good food movement in Detroit were white people. And some of those people are my friends now, let me say that. So this is not an attack on people, this is an analysis. What we attack is white supremacy, we don't attack white people. So white people who stand with us against white supremacy, we're with you. Okay, but if we can't have a discussion, an open, honest discussion about white supremacy and white privilege, we don't really have too much basis for developing a relationship. Okay? So in Detroit, given that kind of context, we thought it was important that people who are part of Detroit's majority population begin to organize ourselves in order to have a voice and to make sure that within this movement our aspirations are fairly represented. So in 2006, we gathered together about 40 people who represent various aspects of the food movement. Some people were gardeners, some people were chefs, some people were raw foodists, some people were interested in food co-ops. And we gathered all these folks together to create an organization so that our community could be fairly represented within this movement. And since that time, that's what we've done. And really just the presence of our organization has changed the dialogue in Detroit. And we would like to think that through our participation in conferences like this, that we're contributing to changing the dialogue nationally as well. In fact, I think that every workshop one of our members has been in, I think it's fair to say that we have shifted the discussion to some extent. Right? Right, Lila?
Yes, Lila.
So for us in Detroit, the work in the good food movement, as Will Allen calls it, is really an extension of the work that many of us have been doing to empower the African American community for years. If you know anything about Detroit, Detroit has a long history of struggle for black empowerment. And I particularly come out of that movement, and many of our other members come out of that movement are highly influenced by it, because Detroit has been a hotbed of struggle for black empowerment. So we kind of merged black power with green power. And we're unapologetic about either of those things. So what we're doing is we are organizing within our own community in order to raise the consciousness of our community members about the role that food plays in our lives, about the importance of being self-reliant, about the importance of African American people galvanizing and consolidating so that we do have power. And also, as part of this discussion of power, it's important that we define what power is. And sometimes I like to use a definition that an African American psychologist, Wade Nobles, uses. He says that power is the ability to define reality and have other people respond to that definition as if it's their own. And so, really what we're about is we're about defining our own reality. And we don't take kindly to others coming to our community and defining for us our reality.
That's right.
Or imposing upon us what their values and their priorities are. And so that's the essential work of our organization. We do it through a number of ways. I know my time is probably running out. We do it through our farm, D-Town Farm, and I just want to ask our farm manager in the back, throw your hand up, Neferah. We do it through D-Town Farm, which is a model organic farm. And so part of what we're doing is we're modeling how unused and underutilized land in the city of Detroit can be put to productive use to provide access to fresh produce, but also more importantly, to show within our community how we can galvanize working relationships so that we get our own community working on our own behalf. The other thing, and I saw Rick give us time signals, so I'll wrap it up in about 30 seconds, is that we have a food co-op where we're encouraging people to buy collectively, because we know, of course, if you buy in larger quantities, you get better prices. And also, we're trying to change our thinking so that our community is not proceeding as individuals, but we understand that our destiny is tied collectively, and by pooling our money together, that we get better prices and we have greater control over the retail aspect of food. We also have a youth development program, the Food Warriors program. We're instrumental in putting together the Detroit Food Policy Council. We have a lecture series at the Detroit Library. All of those things are designed specifically to address Detroit's African American community, but we also understand that our work has larger implications. And even though we're unapologetically focused on our own community, by creating better policy in the city of Detroit, it benefits all Detroiters as well as those who might visit our great city.